Hello everyone, I am Mr. Sunil Kumar, Assistant Professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering at the AJ Institute of Engineering and Technology, Mangalore. The AJ Institute of Engineering and Technology, AJIT, is situated in at the center of the Mangalore city, approachable for anyone from any place. Now, I am teaching you the course Finite Element Analysis as per the video syllabus. The course code is 17ME61. Until now, we have completed 4 modules and we were dealing with the contents of Module 5. Module 5 is about axisymmetric analysis and dynamic analysis. In this regard, I have shared 4 videos in Module 5. This is the 5th video. So, in this class, I would like to explain you about the equation of motion that is introduced by dynamic analysis. Once again, I am Professor Sunil Kumar in the Department of Mechanical Engineering, AJIT Mangalore. Already we have studied what is dynamic analysis. Dynamic analysis is about analyzing the structures which are subjected to time dependent loads and the responses such as displacements, velocity, acceleration, forces and stresses are also time dependent. Where time dependent is most important, in such cases we will go for dynamic analysis. The types of elements usually taken in dynamic analysis will be 1D element. Solving 2D elements and 3D elements in dynamic analysis will be little complicated. However, using the tools of analysis such as abacus, LS-DYNA, all those things, any dynamic analysis can be made easy. In this lecture, we will study about dynamic analysis and its equation of motion. All the dynamic analysis are equivalent to the vibration related problem, vibration mechanics, in which the solution is obtained by solving the differential equation of motion, because all dynamic problems are subjected to motion. In this, there are 3 things which are important in equation of motion. One is displacement u, other one is velocity v and acceleration. The first derivative of displacement is velocity. The second derivative of displacement is acceleration. Displacement, velocity and acceleration are the 3 parameters which are used in equation of motion of dynamic analysis. Well, here equation of motions depends on type of degree of freedom of system. A single degree of freedom system or multi-degree of freedom system, whatever may be the type of degrees of freedom system, the analysis will be different. What do you mean by single degree of freedom system? A system in which the motion of the system is represented by considering only 1 degree. If we consider a single spring mass system, a mass and a spring, and if it is oscillated, the mass will move only in the longitudinal direction, that is along the axial direction of the spring. Then degree of freedom is 1. Now this mass which is moving will have the response of frequency. If it is converted into sinusoidal frequency omega, there will be only one natural frequency. What is natural frequency? The frequency of the system in natural vibration. Natural vibration means a vibration in which there is no external force acting. If that is the case, if there is only one natural frequency for the system, then such type of systems are called as single degree of freedom systems. Some systems, suppose if I take two masses and two springs, then it will be 2 degrees of freedom systems. If I take 3 masses and 3 springs which are connected in series, then it will be 3 degrees of freedom system. Similarly, there will be multi degrees of freedom systems in which there will be multi natural frequencies. If we take an example of a cantilever beam subjected to oscillatory motions, the motion will be perpendicular to the vibration will be perpendicular to the axis of the cantilever beam. Then each particle of the cantilever beam will be vibrating at different amplitudes. Therefore, because of different amplitudes of each particle of the beam throughout the length, such type of members are called as, or such type of systems are called as multi-degree of freedom systems or infinite degree of freedom systems. The degrees of freedom will be infinite because each particle will be vibrating at different amplitudes. If there is different amplitudes, which means different displacements. If displacement is different, velocity will be different, acceleration will be different. If acceleration is different, there will be natural frequency will also be different at different points of the cantilever beam. Such types of systems are called as continuous systems, and degrees of freedom will be infinite. So there are different types of systems based on degrees of freedom. I am not talking about degrees of freedom at a particular node. I am talking about degrees of freedom of a system, degrees of freedom of an entire system. If there is a multi-degree of freedom system, we have to take multi-nodes. If single degree of freedom system is, it is enough if we take 2 nodes. A single element should be there at least. So any single degree of freedom system will have an example of a single bar element, which is equivalent to a spring mass system having one spring, one mass. Okay, coming to single degree of freedom system. As I told, there are 3 important variables. One variable is u, which is displacement. Another variable v is velocity. Velocity is the derivative of displacement. Velocity is the derivative of displacement. It is du by dt. In some cases, it is given as dq by dt. No need to worry because the notation for displacement is either u or q. Once again, I am stressing, don't be confused with the notation of u or q. Both are one and the same. Both are one and the same. The notation for velocity is v. The notation for displacement is u or q. This velocity v is given as derivative of displacement or differentiation of displacement. It is du by dt, or it is represented as u dot. U dot means first derivative of displacement, first derivative of displacement. The one more parameter is acceleration A. Acceleration A. It is given as d square u by dt square, the second derivative of displacement or first derivative of velocity. It is second derivative of displacement or first derivative of velocity is the acceleration. It can be u double dot or simply or it may be q double dot also. It may be u double dot or q double dot, or simply it can be a. Okay. In a single degree of freedom system, the time varying displacement of the structure is defined by one component of motion u of t and the other two components u dot of t and u double dot of t are derived from displacement. As I told, there is only one important component, that is displacement u, and the other two components such as velocity and acceleration are derived quantities. They are derived quantities of the displacement. However, displacement is the function of time, velocity is also function of time, acceleration is also function of time. These three are also function of time. It should be noted. As I told, applied load is also function of time, and the responses such as displacement, velocity and acceleration are also function of time. We need to understand this. This is the importance of dynamic analysis. This is about a single degree of freedom system. Further, a single degree of freedom system can be analyzed as shown here. This is the mass m is having the damper B or C with the stiffness K. This is a simple analyzation of a single degree of freedom system in vibrational analysis or dynamic analysis. Mass m will have inertia force, damping will dissipate the energy, spring will have stiffness restoring force, P or F is the applied force, u is the displacement, u dot is velocity, u double dot is acceleration of the mass. We are actually concentrating on the displacement of the mass, velocity of the mass and acceleration of the mass by assuming the nature of spring and damping in the mass itself, in the system itself. Any system, any mechanical system will have all the three natures. One nature will be of the nature of a mass which have inertia force. Any mechanical system will have inertia force. Any mechanical system will have the nature of spring, the restoring force, the stiffness. All the mechanical components, all the mechanical systems will have the nature of stiffness to restore the force. At the same time, all the mechanical components will have the nature to dissipate the force or dissipate the energy, will have the nature of damping. So the three natures of any mechanical system are the inertia force, the spring stiffness and damping. Inertia, stiffness and damping are the three natures of any mechanical systems, especially under motion, under dynamic considerations or under vibration analysis. Okay, there will be three natures in the analysis of dynamic system. One is inertia, stiffness and damping. Now assume this mass is subjected to the load P or F, which is also a function of time, Because of the applied force, there will be displacement. There will be displacement u, which is also a function of time. Because of the displacement, there will be velocity v, which is also a function of time. There will be acceleration a, which is also a function of time. Suppose this is the mean position of the system. Sorry, if I take one line here, assume this is the original mean position. Due to applied force, this mass moves. Due to restoring and damping force, this mass comes down. This mass will have continuous oscillation motion. Consider this as one line which I am showing arrow mark here. Consider this as a line of reference. Okay, line of equilibrium of the system. Now if force P of t or F of t is applied actually upwards, there will be displacement u in that direction. But at the same time, the mass is having the nature of spring and its nature of damping will bring the mass downwards because of the restoring forces. Okay, because of the stiffness property. So the mass will have motion opposite again. This force will pull and these forces will pull back. Okay, there will be continuous oscillatory motion, that is vibration. Now this single degree of freedom system, it is called so because it is called single degree of freedom system because it is oscillating only in one direction, that is maybe x axis or y axis. It is oscillating in only one direction, that is why it is called a single degree of freedom system. Now there will be continuous vibration, and there will be displacement ut in both the direction. Suppose it takes one oscillation, the displacement u of t will be same in upward direction and also will be same in downward direction. At the same time, velocity is also same when moving upwards or downwards. At the same time, acceleration also. According to Newton's law, as I told, this is the initial line taken, the line of reference at the center of the mass. Whatever the motion taking place, the acceleration will be proportional to the amplitude of vibration. Amplitude means the maximum displacement of this mass in any one of the directions, either upward or downward. Amplitude means displacement, amount of displacement happened. The maximum displacement in any one of the directions is the amplitude. Acceleration of the system is directly proportional to the amplitude of the motion and is directed towards this mean position or reference line. Whatever I told is called as mean position or equilibrium position. That acceleration is proportional to the amplitude and is directed towards the mean position, which means mass moves upwards. Again, the acceleration is such a way that it is directed towards mean position, it will bring back, while this mass moves downwards. Because of acceleration, it will go up, like that. Therefore, considering the mass force, that is inertia force, stiffness force of the spring and the damping force, one can write the equation of motion of the system. So what are the three important forces we have to consider? Inertia force, stiffness force, that is spring force, and damping force. Considering these three forces, we can relate to the force applied. This equation of motion, by considering these forces, is known as equation of motion of a single degree of freedom system. Single degree of freedom system. Dynamic and static degrees of freedom. Mass and damping are associated with motion of a dynamic system. Mass and damping are associated with motion of the dynamic system. Degrees of freedom with mass or damping are often called dynamic degrees of freedom. As I told, degrees of freedom in static case is different. If I have to define the degrees of freedom in static case, it is the number of independent coordinates required to specify the position of a system. Whereas in dynamic case, in dynamic analysis, I can define degrees of freedom as the number of independent coordinates required to specify the motion of a system, not the position. That is the difference. In static analysis, degrees of freedom is the number of independent coordinates required to specify the position of a system, whereas in dynamic analysis, degree of freedom is the number of independent coordinates required to specify the motion of a system. That is why it is called as dynamic degrees of freedom. In dynamic analysis, degrees of freedom with mass or damping are associated with dynamic degrees of freedom. Okay, both are associated with motion of dynamic system. Okay, degrees of freedom with stiffness are called as static degrees of freedom. If I consider only stiffness, it is static degrees of freedom. Until now we have solved the problems on bars in APA. We have solved problems on beams, problems on trusses, and heat transfer problems. If I write the equilibrium equation for analysis of bars, we have written K into Q is equal to F, where K is the stiffness, Q is displacement is equal to F. There F is depending on K into Q, that is stiffness into displacement. Those are all static analysis of bars, beams, whatever we have solved, trusses, example, they are all static analysis where we have considered only stiffness, that is K. We have not considered the mass of the system. We have not considered the damping of the system. If we consider mass and damping, that becomes equation of equilibrium for dynamic problems. So what is the difference between dynamic problems and static problem is? In static problem, the equation of equilibrium is depending on only stiffness. That is why we write K into Q is equal to F. That is what written here. Degrees of freedom with stiffness are called as static degrees of freedom. Whereas degrees of freedom along with stiffness, if we consider mass and damping are also, it is called as dynamic degrees of freedom. Okay, that is the difference. It is possible and often desirable in models of complex system to have fewer degrees of freedom than static degrees of freedom. In dynamic analysis, we can make the problem simpler and more approachable towards the exact solution by considering the mass and damping, and we can reduce the number of elements or number of nodes, and we can make the solution easy, and we can reduce the degrees of freedom for overall structure. By reducing the degrees of freedom of a overall structure, okay, we can attain the solution nearer to the exact solution in dynamic analysis instead of going with maximum degrees of freedom with static analysis. That is the meaning of the statement. We can go with dynamic analysis by considering mass and damping with lesser degrees of freedom, where our solution, approximate solution in FEA, will reach near the exact solution, instead of considering static analysis with maximum degrees of freedom. That is the meaning of that statement. The four basic components of dynamic system are mass, energy dissipation, that is damper, resistance of spring, and applied load. As I told in the earlier figure itself, there are four important components which are all depending on time, The four components of any vibration analysis or the four components of any dynamic analysis are spring, mass, damper, which are very three important parameters. One more is, if there is no force, how can we study? If force is there, if we consider force, that becomes force vibration, however, but there should be initial excitation. If there is no initial excitation, there is no vibration. So force is also parameter considered. So four important components of dynamic analysis are what? One is mass, other one is damper, other one is spring, other one is applied load. One is mass, other one is damper, which is called energy dissipation, other one is resistance, which is called spring, other one is applied load. Now, as the structure moves in response to an applied load, forces are induced that are function of both applied load and motion in the individual components. Okay. As structure moves because of the applied load, applied force is there. Due to applied force, there will be motion. Because of motion, what happens? All the components, that is mass, spring, and damping components, will have displacement. That displacement is possible because of the forces induced in the individual components. The applied force is F of t or P of t, that is different. What are the induced force? The mass will develop inertia force. The spring will develop the resistance force or the stiffness force. The damping will develop the energy dissipation force or the damping force. So there will be forces developed in the individual components such as mass, spring, and damper because of the applied force and its displacement. The equilibrium equation representing the dynamic motion of the system is known as equation of motion. Until now we have studied the problems on bars example, and we have concentrated on very important equation. That equation is called as equation of equilibrium or equilibrium equation. That equation was K into Q is equal to F. That equation was called equilibrium equation. That equation is called equilibrium equation. Here in dynamic analysis also there is equation of equilibrium. It is not simply KQ is equal to F. It is KQ plus spring force plus damping force is equal to F. This is called equilibrium system of dynamic analysis, equilibrium equation of dynamic analysis. This equilibrium equation of dynamic analysis is also called as equation of motion. That is what equation of motion is. What is equation of motion in dynamic analysis? Equation of motion in dynamic analysis is the equilibrium equation of the dynamic system. Equation of motion in dynamic analysis is the equation of equilibrium in the dynamic system. Equation of equilibrium in the static system is KQ is equal to F. Equation of motion in the dynamic system is KQ plus spring force plus damping force is equal to applied force. So this is equilibrium equation. which is also known as equation of motion in dynamic analysis. In dynamic analysis, what is that equation of motion? This equation, it defines the equilibrium condition of the system at each point in time. We have to consider time at each point in time. That equation is known as equation of equilibrium or equation of motion of a dynamic system. Until now we have written in static systems or static analysis as KQ is equal to F, but we have not taken time. I have written T is time. Only we have written KQ is equal to F. But in dynamic analysis, it is mass force, damping force, spring force. All three forces will be equal to applied force. All three forces will be equal to applied force. This is inertia force, damping force, stiffness force will be equal to applied force. M, mass of the system. This mass will have acceleration. This mass will have acceleration u double dot. Okay, which is the function of time? Which is the function of time? This force is the function of time. Damper will have velocity u dot, which is the function of time. Stiffness with displacement u, which is the function of time, is equal to applied force here. What is this equation of motion or equilibrium equation? Is mu double dot plus cu dot plus ku is equal to f of t. Everything is function of time. Everything is we have studied until now in vibration as mx double dot plus cx dot plus kx is equal to f. There x is displacement. Here displacement, the notation is u, that's all. In FEA we are taking u or q also, sometimes q also. Please make a note of it. We can take it u or we can take it as q also, no problem. There will be both u and q. So what is the equation of motion? Mu double dot of t plus cu dot of t plus ku of t is equal to f of t is the equation of motion or equation of equilibrium of a dynamic problem, dynamic analysis. Hope you have understood. The equation of motion accounts for the forces acting on the structure at each instant in time. At each instant in time. Okay? Time is very important. Typically, these forces are separated into internal and external forces. I told you this is force. Mu double dot is force. Mass into acceleration is force. Is it right? Damping into velocity is force. Stiffness into displacement is force. This 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 is force equation, which is known as equilibrium equation, which is known as equation of motion. These forces can be divided into two forces. One is internal force, other one is external force. There are four forces here. These four forces are divided into internal forces and external forces. Okay. Internal forces are found on left hand side of the equation. Okay. Now, according to that statement, all the three forces which are written here, which are highlighted here, they are all internal forces which are induced in the system. They are induced because of what? The external force which is specified at the right hand side of the equation. This is the external force applied. Because of this external force applied, there is inducement of internal force inside the system. Okay. The resultant equation is a second order linear differential equation representing the motion of the system as a function of displacement and higher order derivatives of the displacement. The equation which is mentioned here is what order equation, whether it is first order or second order. It should be second order because it is second derivative u double dot. It should be of second order differential equation. It should be second order differential equation. That is what said here. The resultant equation is a second order linear differential equation. Linear means it is varying linearly. Okay, it's a linear 1D element taken, representing the motion of the system as a function of displacement, function of u, and higher order derivatives of the displacement. It's a function of displacements and the derivatives of displacement. What is derivatives of displacement? One derivative is velocity and the other derivative is double derivative is acceleration. This function is the function of displacement and its derivatives, higher order derivatives. One is single order du by dt is velocity and the other double order d square u by dt square is acceleration. So as I told, there are three induced forces, three internal forces and one external force. F of t is external force. Mu double dot of t is internal force. Cu dot of t is internal force. Ku is internal force. So in that internal force, one force is called as inertia force. In that internal force, one force is called as inertia force. Mu double dot of t, mass into acceleration, in that above equation, above equilibrium equation, above equation of motion. Equation of motion is what? Mu double dot of t plus cu dot of t plus ku of t is equal to f of t. That is the equation of motion. In that equation, the first term mu double dot of t, the first term mu double dot of t is called as inertia force, whereas m is mass and u double dot is acceleration. This force is called as inertia force, which is an internal force induced due to applied external force. This force is called as inertia force. Mu double dot of t is called as inertia force. The first expression of the force is called as inertia force. This is proportional to mass into acceleration. Mass into acceleration. Viscous damping. The energy dissipation mechanism induces a force. The energy dissipation mechanism induces a force of dissipation constant and the velocity. This force is called as damping force. The damping C or B into velocity with respect to time, this force is called as damping force. There are three internal forces. One is inertia force, this force, damping force, which is a function of time once again. This damping force is equal to the damping constant. It is equal to the damping constant into the velocity of the motion. This damping force, what it does is, it transforms the kinetic energy into other form of energy, typically heat, which tends to reduce vibration. What is the importance of damping? What is the importance of damping? The importance of damping is to reduce vibration. The importance of damping is to reduce vibration. The importance of damper is to reduce vibration. How it reduces vibration is by converting kinetic energy into heat energy usually. The friction force. Damper usually produces friction. That is why it is called as viscous damping. Any system will have the nature of damping, or any vibration system will be attached with external damper to have friction. Usually, if fluid is used, any uh, oil can be used, or any sandbath can be used. Magnetic damping will be there. So what happens there? There will be friction. Usually, any vibration system will be subjected to viscous damping because there should be a slow reduction in vibration. So that is why what happens here is because of friction, the motion will reduce, which is in turn we can say that kinetic energy is converted into heat energy. So damping force, what it does, the damping force transforms the kinetic energy into another form of energy which is typically known as heat energy, and it tends to reduce the vibration. What is elastic force? What is elastic force? It is the spring force actually. So final induced force is the dynamic force is due to elastic resistance in the system and is function of displacement and stiffness. This force is called as spring force. Spring force is the multiplication of the stiffness into displacement. Stiffness into displacement is spring force. So until now we have studied three types of forces. One is inertia force, other one is damping force, other one is spring force. All these forces are internally induced forces. All these forces are function of time. These forces are induced in the dynamic system due to externally applied force F of t. Due to externally applied force F of t. Therefore, in equation of motion mu double dot of t plus cu dot of t plus ku of t is equal to F of t is the equation of motion. In which there are four types of forces here. There are four important components. The forces which are in the left side of the equation are called internal forces. The force in the right side of the equation, that is F of t, is the external force, applied force. The first component of force mu double dot of t, that is mass into acceleration, is inertia force. The second force is damping into velocity. Damping into velocity is the damping force. The third force is stiffness into displacement, that is the spring force. These three are induced internal forces of the equation of motion, and F of t is the externally applied force of the equation of motion. And the applied load F of t or P of d on the right side of the equation is also a function of time. And this load is independent of structure to which it is applied. Applied load is independent of structure. Internally induced forces are depending on the structure, type of mass, type of damping, type of spring. The internal forces depends on the system or a structure, whereas externally applied force F of t or P of t, it is independent of the structure. It can be an earthquake applied to the house office building or bridge. It's different. It is different. The type of force applied is different on different structures. It can be any force applied. Okay. Internal forces are depending on the type of structure. External forces are independent on the type of structure. The solution of this equation of motion for quantities such as displacement, velocities and acceleration or stresses is the objective of dynamic analysis. As I told, why we have to do dynamic analysis is to obtain the responses or the solution. The solutions are either, it may be either displacement, velocity, acceleration, stresses, whatever. Everything is a function of time. That is the objective of dynamic analysis. The primary task of the dynamic analysis is to determine the type of analysis to be performed. One analyst, any dynamic analyst, should understand which type of analysis I should perform, because there are many cases. Okay, and there are different mathematical approaches. There are the different mathematical approaches to solve any dynamic problem. It may not be a single degree of freedom system. There will be number of parameters, a complicated geometry. There are a lot of parameters. Whatever we have studied until now is a basic single degree of freedom system, mass damper spring system, which is a very basic. But there will be a lot of other parameters, complex geometry, etc., and complex loadings also, complex constraints. There are a number of parameters. That is why one has to decide what type of mathematical approach I should prefer. The extent of information required for dynamic analysis also dictates the necessary of solution of processes and steps. And you should have the information about number of iterations to be performed, because whatever the solution we get in dynamic analysis, suppose if we are solving for acceleration, a single iteration is not required, not done. Multiple solutions are taken because it is time dependent. Since time dependent, we have to go for multiple solutions, multiple responses. In that case, information required should be taken care of. And dynamic analysis can be classified into two basic classifications. Okay. Once again, dynamic analysis can be classified into two basic classifications. One is free vibration and forced vibration. Until now, we have written the equation for forced vibration: mu double dot of t plus cu dot of t plus ku of t is equal to f of t. If you write is equal to f of t, then it is forced vibration. If you write is equal to 0, then it is free vibration. Free vibration is used to determine the basic dynamic characteristics of system with right hand side. Right hand side of the equation as 0. That is, no load is applied. If the equation contains no load, then it is called free vibration. If damping is neglected, solution is known as undamped vibration also. Okay. There may be number of types of analysis in dynamic analysis. Basically, it can be free or forced vibration. What is free vibration? When vibration is happening only with initial excitation force applied, and there is no further force acting in the system, there is no further continuous force acting in the system, such type of vibrations or such type of dynamics are called as free vibrations. So, and the equation is also equation of free vibration, that is mu double dot of t plus cu dot of t plus ku of t is equal to 0. In place of is equal to f of t, we will write is equal to 0 for free vibrations. So that is considered, right hand side of that equation is considered as 0. Right hand side of the equation of motion is considered as 0 for free vibrations. Whereas for forced vibration, the right hand side of the equation is considered as f of t. And also, if sometimes it is possible that cu dot of t, that is damping force, is neglected. Undamped vibrations, where there is no resistance for vibration. If there is no resistance for vibration, that is called as undamped vibration. That can also be considered. So such type of vibrations are also called as undamped vibrations. Now, what is free vibration analysis? This is done in most of the cases. In most of the cases, suppose there is no uh, external force continuously applied, such as in when external motor is required for the vibration, then it is called as external forced vibration. If there is no continuous force acting on the system, there is only initial excitation force acting, then such a vibration is called free vibration, and the analysis is a free vibration analysis. In undamped, if there is no damping also, then equation reduces to mu double dot plus ku of t is equal to 0. Now, why we are stressing is further derivations in this chapter is based on undamped free vibrations only, undamped free vibrations or undamped force vibration also. Okay, mu double dot of t, that is inertia force plus spring force, is equal to 0. This is dynamic consideration, static consideration is equal to 0. Where u of t, is a function of, is considered to be, displacement is considered to be continuous, varying sinusoidal, continuously varying sinusoidal. That is u of t is equal to a sin omega nt plus b cos omega nt, which means the equation is sinusoidal in nature, where a and b are integration constants. The above equations a and b are integration constants. These constants are determined by considering the initial conditions in the system. These constants are determined by considering the initial conditions in the system. Since the initial displacement of the system u t of t and the initial velocity is also known, a and b are evaluated by substituting their values into solution, and the equation of displacement and its first derivative is obtained. Now listen here. Initial condition is time t is equal to 0. At time t there is no displacement. Then a and b are determined. That is the meaning of the statement. As I told, the equation will be continuous in nature. The x-axis represents the time, y-axis represents the amplitude or displacement. Initially, the displacement will be known by considering the a sin omega t. As time goes on, the displacement changes, but at a particular point, its value is same when we consider one particular cycle of the motion. So this is about the dynamic analysis and the equation of motion.